The only one of the 6 MLS players that I think has a legitimate chance outside of Reem of getting significant minutes, but having an impact on the game is Diego Luna. And I bring him up because we've been kind of thirsting to see, and I'm not alone in this, people I talk to off camera, like, how will he fit in with the first team? If we got Diego Luna in with the first team, how would he do with, in theory, being surrounded by better players, Big Tones, right? And can he unlock certain space or with the type of passes that he can make to a Christian Pulisic as opposed to other players that he was playing with before? I'm very curious about that, and I wonder if Mauricio Pochettino and his staff are thinking the same things.
Yeah, I think it's, when you're in a January camp, you're in with excuse me, a bunch of guys that are, I don't want to say the B team, but are below really the first team, right? And trying to get into the first team. This, I think, actually should become easier for Diego Luna, right? He's got better players around him, guys that so it's not like you're trying to mix 11 different guys together. You're putting one in with a core group, right? You're putting one in with an 8 or 9 group of players that have been there, that have played at higher levels, that understand Pochettino a little bit more than Diego Luna would. So I think this is fascinating to see him, because we haven't had a true sort of playmaker like him for a long time. We haven't had a guy that sits underneath, and I still think, even though they played Gio, yeah, but he's still a little bit different for me than Diego Luna is. Gio's might be a better, straight passer, thread a needle, but Diego Luna has like a little flair about him that we haven't seen in a long time. And I still think the choice was probably, with that type of player, Zendejas or him. I know they start in 2 different positions. Zendejas starts a little bit more from the right-hand side, Diego Luna a little bit more from the left-hand side, but I don't ever see those 2 guys on the field together, right? So if you want something to change the rhythm of the game, Diego Luna's your guy. And I don't know, I'm chuckling about it, but if you're Pochettino, can you get over the fact that the dude broke his nose and like looked you in the eye and said, "I'm not coming out, coach"? Like, can you how Pochettino talked about that, right? Like, he was genuinely excited to talk about that moment with Diego Luna. And Diego's the one thing he's going to do. He's going to fight his ass off all the time, right? He's going to battle for everything. And what he's added, if you talk to Pablo Mastroeni, and I've spoken to him multiple times from calling games, he's added the defensive part of it too. So he's not just lazy with the ball. He does the dirty work. I'm fascinated to see if he gets in a game here, because, as you said, we've been calling for it for a little while now.
Yeah, Chuck, I want your thoughts on this. Like, let's say, because is that the differentiator, I would say, between Diego Luna and Gio Reyna? Not like for like players, but obviously they both have that little something special in that creative mindset and mentality and player profile, right? But because of the defensive work that he's
different,
putting in,
but different.
Yeah,
I would say
different.
They're both different.
Yeah,
they both are special in the way that they have a different player profile and they offer you something different than the rest of this crew in that attacking midfield role. But they're very, very unique from each other, because they don't have the same quality. So I think Gio Reyna is very silky smooth. He has this dribbling, and I think he has a really good eye for a pass. I mean, he can play those killer balls. Probably a better goal scorer than Diego Luna, but Diego Luna is a fighter. He's also not afraid to dribble. He's got that creative juice in him that you need as an attacking midfielder, but he's a little bit more of a fighter. He likes more contact than Gio. I think they both will open up the attacking third for the U.S. men's national team. So I'm interested to see who's in front of the other, right, coming into this camp. Obviously, there's a special connection already with Pochettino and Diego Luna. When you play with a broken nose and you can contribute and fight as a young player, trying to make an impact, trying to show Pochettino I'll do whatever it takes. He's clearly shown that, hey, I'm here for this country. I'm here for you. I'm here for the team. And right off the bat, that's something that'll never leave Pochettino. He'll always think of Diego Luna. I know I can count on him in no matter what the situation is, no matter what the moment, just from that one act in a January camp. So it'll be interesting. He goes with an MLS guy like Diego Luna, a young player. And I go back to the U20 World Cup where he was thriving as a false nine. And it wasn't until the quarterfinals when they played Uruguay that Mikey Veras changed everything up and they lose 2-0. But I think he's a real talented player that can figure it out. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does get meaningful minutes, Jimmy.
Okay, so here we go. January camp. I could now, looking at this roster, could say that it matters. The January camp mattered, and it's a January camp alumni that made the most of my opportunities in that. That pumps me up. So thank you, Mauricio Pochettino, for putting a little emphasis on the January camp, making a difference and impacting your team in a positive way. None of these players, maybe they don't pan out, but they had the opportunity. And to your point, Big Tones, when you're around players, when you get to see how they fit in, if you get to see how they align to your philosophy and how quickly they can adapt to what you want, it makes a difference. And without the January camp, you might not have known that about a few of these guys. And I think that only helps our player pool get deeper, get more competitive. And I think it feels a little bit more democratic that everybody has a potential chance to get a crack at the national team. So
don't you think, Jimmy, like, don't you think if you're Pochettino, like we said when he first came in, he had to have his eyes open to everything, right? It was, I know it's kind of a trite saying, oh, everybody's got a clean slate, right? But I feel this shows that everybody had a clean slate. And yeah, we're talking about Gio, and I don't know that we're comparing Gio to Luna. I still think Gio is the guy until he's not really the guy anymore. But if you're Pochettino, you're looking at it and go, I still have to gain some trust in Gio, right? I still have to see Gio do what I want him to do, and how I want him to do it, and then I need to see him do it on a consistent basis for the national team. So I think that Gio plays ahead of Luna. I also think there's a moment in there where if Pochettino wants to change the rhythm of the game somehow, that Luna could be an option for him. As I said, I ended the last comment. I'm interested to see what Mauricio Pochettino does with Diego Luna in this camp and how he uses him, if he uses him at all.
Yeah, no, that's true, and some good points on Gio as well. Go ahead, Chuck.
I was going to say there's a lot of chatter about Diego Luna not producing, at RSL like some of these other players. It's not about his numbers for me. It's about the potential that he has, that I see him, and how Tony pointed out. Maybe it's a player who comes in and he's a little bit raw, because I think Diego's still a little raw, given what he's done. Can Pochettino take him up a few notches? And I'm willing to bet that he could. So in that instance, that's why we're looking at Diego Luna, not so much for where he is right now, but what he can be under Pochettino and with the A team. That's how we're looking at. We know that Gio Reyna is proven. We know his ceiling. Maybe we don't even know his ceiling. We know how good he can be if he's consistent and he's healthy, but we haven't seen that. And then you look at this lineup where if Reyna's fully fit, is he a starter over Yunus Musa? If we're playing a 4-1-2-3 and we're talking about two attacking midfielders, McKinney and Pulisic, if they're there, is he playing over Musa? Is it because he's not in my mind, he's not playing over either Weston or Christian as those two attacking midfielders. So the only spot is really Yunus Musa. Would you play him over Yunus Musa in that case?
Yeah, I don't know if I would in this particular moment, but Gio Reyna
can't,
does have,
Jimmy, in this camp. You can't in this camp. Musa's playing on a weekly basis right now. Like I still think, and I'm reading the tea leaves, right? I still think that Gio's got to gain some trust from Pochettino and what he's trying to do, right? And I know Gio's been great in this tournament in the past, right? Like, look at what he did last year in this tournament. But Pochettino's new, man. Pochettino he knows the results of last year. He doesn't give a rat's ass about last year.
Nor should he
doesn't care, nor should he. He's worried about this year and next year, right? Last year means nothing to him right now. So, it's going to be fascinating to see how he handles, players like Gio who haven't played a lot of minutes, and it really is. And then it's going to be fascinating what he does, because we're all assuming, Chuck, like you said before, I'm with you. When Dest comes back, it changes the whole dynamic of everything.
Mhm.
But does Pochettino still have to find some trust in Dest? Right? Never to this point, he's never played for Pochettino.
Right. Oh, look at you. He got to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. So if you want more average to good content, then you know where to go find it. Go peruse our channel, then hit like, then hit subscribe, and of course, turn on your notifications so that you never miss a show. We'll see you next time.